So if you can see on the screen here, I've put up some top reasons that courts are jailing and punishing protective moms. And because we're seeing this happen around the country, we're seeing it happen increasingly. Last month on our monthly session, we had several moms on who had been jailed for protecting their children. And there was a focus on Colorado because several moms have been jailed there. And they were, one of them was jailed for a year and a half because she was considered to be in contempt of a gag order because she made one social media post asking for legal help, and she was put in jail for a year and a half. And her rights to her children were terminated while she was in jail. Very, very, very extremely punitive. She had murderers next door, and she was in jail for a year and a half and lost her children. So for one social media post. Primarily, protective moms are getting put in jail when children are resisting contact, when they've been court ordered to be with a parent that they're scared of, and or who has abused them or their safe parent, and they've seen it or they're aware of it, and the child is afraid to go, or resisting contact for could be other reasons, but oftentimes what the kind of cases we're talking about here involve abuse. And the court looks at that as that the mother is alienating or being a problem, rather than the child has legitimate fears, and then she's held in contempt of an order to share parenting, and they put her in jail sometimes. So those are the first two that we see very commonly. So I'm going to talk a little bit tonight and focus on this area of law that's evolving that pertains to criminalizing custodial interference. And that is a felony in some states, and they're trying to make it increasingly easier to criminalize parents, but oftentimes protective moms, for custodial interference. And also, we don't have in the US, except for in Hawaii, any coercive control laws that make it a criminal offense. Hawaii makes it a misdemeanor. And we are cautious about having those laws enacted not because we don't think coercive control is very dangerous and problematic, but because we think the system is not yet ready to assess who is the coercive controller, abusive party, and who is the protective parent. So we are working to get those coercive control laws in the civil law, but not yet criminalize it, because we feel like it would be misapplied and used against protective moms very often. At this stage, we need the courts to better understand what's going on in these cases, because as many of you know, they really struggle to know who is the abusive party and who is the protective party in abuse cases. So for custodial interference, actions that are considered custodial interference in state laws now include things like refusing to release the child to the other parent for a scheduled visit. Now, of course, if that's an abuse case, they're not always interpreting it that the child has fear. They're looking at it as the parent is alienating or not cooperating, not co-parenting, not being a friendly parent, all these things. Limiting the child's telephone contact to the other parent. Similarly, sometimes kids don't want to talk to a parent who's been abusive, or they're scared of, or they don't like, or whatever. And the protective parent gets blamed for that. Failing to return the child on a timely basis. Sometimes, that happens. Sometimes abusers are doing that, right? They do kidnap the children and run away. But more frequently, we're seeing children are resisting contact. They don't want to go. The protective parent is trying to cooperate. The child is not going. And then the protective parent gets punished for that. Enticing the child away from the parent with custody, similar, and visiting the child when the other parent is supposed to have custody. So all of these things fall under the legal definition of custodial interference in different state laws. They're written somewhat differently state by state, but generally this is what we're talking about. And this is a crime in some states.